Well, since the last show, I can't lie to you, I haven't stopped hoovering, boys and girls. My new Dyson is fantastic. I've hoovered each and every room 5 times a day. Do you ever do that when you get a new gadget? You keep using it, don't you? Mind you, that won't last long. I'm not known as someone who likes to constantly clean the place, although I have been quite good of late. I don't know why, but as I've, for example, let me think, as for example, I've finished having a meal, you know, usually something on toast. I'm afraid that is the life of someone living alone, to eat everything on toast. Now let me think. This week I've had beans on toast. I've had beans and sausages on toast. I've had cheese on toast and egg on toast. Oh, we loved her. My sister said to me this morning, I was on the phone to her this morning, she said, what are you having for dinner? And I said, oh, probably eggs on toast, scrambled eggs on toast, though. She said, you do eat a lot of bread, don't you? And then, you see, that's where the weight problem comes from, the bread. I know that from last time, because about a year ago, well, maybe a bit longer than that, maybe about 18 months ago, I had a feeling that was the problem, and I gave up the bread. Well, my God, the weight fell off. It fell off. Probably also to do with the jogging I was doing at the time. Now, do you remember I told you with the jogging that I gave that up about 6 months ago because I was getting problems with my knees. Well, since last week, about this time last week, I have since been jogging twice. Believe it or not, and I was surprised. For some reason, I recorded a show 3 shows ago. I didn't tell you this. And after the show, I thought, do you know what? I really want to go for a run today. And I thought, well, I haven't been for about 6 months now. I know. It's that long ago. Where does the time go? You know, it's only 4 weeks to Christmas. Ding dong merrily on high. I've got my Christmas music and everything ready for you. And those of you that watch on YouTube or Blip TV, Google Video, or what's the other one? Google Video, Blip TV. Oh, what's the other one? Oh, I can't remember that. Current TV. Those of you that watch on those systems, I have a Christmas caption for the beginning and the end of the show. Oh, it's all for no expense spared, dear. No expense spared. Absolutely. Oh, and also I wanted to ask you, behind me, there's always a mirror ball going round here in the studio. What could I put there? I could take the mirror ball down and replace it with something for the shows around the Christmas period. Have you got any suggestions? What could I take? I could take the mirror ball down and put something else in its place that revolves slowly for my Christmas shows. Have you got any suggestions? Please let me know. Hello to you. My name's Chris Reardon. This is United Kingdom Talk. There's an email address. It's chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Right then. So I have been jogging twice. And I thought, well, you know, go out the door. If you run for 5 minutes, you're probably doing well after having not run for so long. Well, blow me down. Blow me down. I like that expression, don't you? Blow me down. It's not offensive, that, is it? Blow me down. I went out and I actually managed the course that I used to complete minus about 5 minutes. So I'm really pleased with myself. And I got back here, in all honesty, I wasn't huffing and puffing like one would expect after that. And I was fine. The only thing is, my legs ached a little bit. And then on the Monday and the Tuesday, because I think it was the Sunday I went jogging. On the Monday and the Tuesday, my legs paid for that. Sort of between if you look at the front of the leg, from the top of the knee to the upper part of the leg, all that area, it was like jelly. And I was wobbling, dear. I beg your pardon. What do you mean wobbling as you usually are? How rude you are, dear. I don't wobble as much as James Dean. Oh, he wobbles a lot. He does wobble a lot. I'll tell you I've got some news about him in a minute. He rung up all excited on the phone. Now, James Dean, if you're a new viewer or listening to the show, you won't know James Dean. He also does a podcast called matineeshow.co.uk. All right? And he plays show tunes with his co-presenter, the old dear, Madam Aries. And she's old. Blimey. I mean, I thought I was old until I came across Madam Aries. You look at her and you think to yourself, did she die 25 years ago, you know? I mean, she really is that old. But James Dean, he's given me some news this week. I'm not telling you yet. You wait, dear. We don't want to peak too early. Not that James Dean would ever be a peak. We won't peak too early. So I did that jogging, and that was all well and good. And since then, I have been one other time, and you know, I felt really good for going. I did, because I did enjoy jogging. I don't know what, I think it was starting to affect my knees, as you know. But I've talked to other people about it, and they reckon I should start jogging again, but don't go as much and for as long. They said to me, limit your jog to about half an hour. So maybe that's what I do. I might carry on, I might not. I tell you one thing, it's got very cold in the UK here in the last few days. Oh, it's freezing. Vile. It's really cold. And you go for a run and come back here and you're all warm again, and it's lovely. It really is. Now, lots of emails to get through today. Meantime, I have to tell you, as you know, on the last show, my new Dyson made a guest appearance for the whole of the show. Did you? I mean, it didn't say a lot, to be honest. They don't, do they? I sit for hours talking to my gadgets, and they never respond. The cats respond sometimes, but not the gadgets. They don't talk back, do you? Come on, be honest, boys and girls. Have you ever been in a kettle, or in a kitchen, rather? Have you ever been in the kitchen and tried to talk to your kettle? Does it ever respond? No, it doesn't. Now and again, you might get a bit of a whistle. Or I get a squeak whenever I open my pocket and try and take some money out. I do get a squeak. I have spent a little bit more, just a little bit of money. Do you remember, a few shows ago, I told you my kitchen cupboard was coming off the wall. The top right-hand screw was coming out, dear. Do you remember that? Well, I told you I was calling out 2 people, and they came round last week. 2 old boys, around about 50 years old, both of them. I've got to say I was a bit disappointed with what came round to put it up, but beggars can't be choosers. Let's say, when they came through the door, I immediately covered up my arms and legs. Okay? Because I do, sometimes if I think someone nice is coming round like that to do, like a tradesman, I might wear a little skimpy T-shirt. Or I might have a little bit of leg showing at the bottom, where the socks are, just a little bit of leg. But when I opened the door, I quickly pulled my trouser leg down and put a hooded top on to cover my arms, so no flesh was showing. Afraid I didn't fancy either of them. Anyway, so these 2 blokes came in. What lovely people. Really, really nice people. What's up, Gov? So he came in. Now, when I get someone like that come in to do a job, I always try and talk to them in a sort of tradesman's way. So sometimes my mouth protrudes words that I would not use on this programme, because there is decency involved in this programme. It's a family show. There is no swearing or anything like that. But when tradesmen come round, I do, how can I put this, lower the tone of myself. I do just a tiny bit, just a little bit, not too much, just a bit. What's up, mate? So I said, I'll leave a bit of a gap where I would have put another word in, and you can fill in that gap for yourself, okay? What's up, mate? Oh, that cupboard on the wall. I've had a go at the weekend, and I can't put it up there. I'm not made to do these things. And the 2 boys were starting to laugh, weren't they? Oh, don't worry about that, mate. Leave it to us. We'll sort it out. Which one is it? I said, it's the one up there. I said, I was working on that for 2 hours. And this pair are laughing. Okay, mate. Well, let's have a look then. So he's had a look at that one. He said, you know the one next to it? I think that's coming away from the wall as well. I said, oh, is it? I said, it did look a bit loose as well, but I wasn't going to say anything. He said, oh, well, just leave it to us. I said, well, I've already emptied that cupboard. Do you want me to empty the one next to it as well? Mate, just leave it to us. You go and have a cup of tea. I said, okay. I said, well, talking tea. Do you want a cup of tea? You must always offer tradesmen a drink whenever they come to your house. Absolutely. And toast or cakes. Yes, I know. I was one. Remember? I used to work for British Telecom. I was an engineer about 15 years ago. Best job. I loved the job. Absolutely loved working for British Telecom. But you go round to people's houses. If the tea and the cakes come out, I'm telling you now, you get a better job done. Yeah, it's true. And it's usually the old ladies who treat you the best. Oh, yes, those lovely ladies over 60 years old. I love you all. That's what we need on this programme. More elderly ladies listening. That immediately Joy's got her back up because she insists on being the oldest. Like you see, she wants all the... Isn't that right, Joy? You want the attention, dear. But let me tell you, Joy, hand cross my heart. If other elderly ladies join us for the show, you will not be... You will still be my number one. Say I'm your number one. I only want to be close to you. Yes. All right, so don't worry about that, Joy. Always, if you've got a tradesman coming round, get the tea and the cakes out, okay? Right. So there they are. Do you want a cup of tea? No, we're okay, mate. Oh, sure. It's no trouble. No, we've just had one, mate. We'll get on with this. I got a feeling that they wanted me out of the way. I was starting to get in the way now because, you know, when I have these tradesmen, I mean, I don't have to fancy them. I still chat away like that, dear. There's no shutting me up, I'm telling you now. So I said, well, I'll get out your way then. I said, there's nothing worse than being watched over, is there? I said, I've had it done to me when I was working for BT. He said, all right, mate, well, you can stay if you want, but whatever. So I then went into the living room and left them alone, and I could hear like drillings and bangings going on. Right. I haven't got to the best part of it yet. Oh, God, I'm so happy. Happy. So after about, I would say about an hour and a half, okay? I said, hey, mate, do you want to come and have a look? So I went out there. My cupboards were back on the wall. Well, actually, no, I went out there halfway through. I said, you boys all right? You sure you don't want a cup of tea yet? That was after about half hour, 3/4 of an hour. No, we're okay. And at that point, one of them was standing on this little ladder that he'd bought in. Oh, he's got proper ladders. I mean, I didn't ask to borrow one of my chairs to stand on like I would have done. He had a proper well, it wasn't a ladder. It was like a tall step. I suppose it got him up about 18 inches, something like that. Oh, please, if you're in Europe, don't start quoting me metric numbers. I don't know metric. They're inches, dear. Metric is foreign. We don't do metric here in the Mirable Studios. We do inches. Inches, feet and yards. Thank you very much. Do you remember? This says United Kingdom. Doesn't say Europe. It says United Kingdom. And here I'm using inches. Inchworm, gathering the marigolds. Is that the right words? I don't know. So, he's on this step, and he's up there, and the other poor old boy, he's trying to hold this cupboard, and I thought, oh my God, any minute he's going to drop that, because he didn't look safe with it. So I went back into the living room and left him, and the next time they called me, it was all done, and I went into the kitchen, there it is on the wall. And he says, yeah, we put the other one back on the wall. We were right. That one was coming off as well. I said, okay. I said, well, I'll put the stuff back in a minute. I said, what's the damage, John? And I won't lie, this sort of thing, whenever you have a workman in now, it seems to be so expensive, especially like plumbers, anything like that. So in my pocket, I had £120 cash in my pocket. And He said, oh, give us 40 quid for that. I said, how much? 40 quid, mate. He said, that's all right, isn't it? I said, is that all right? I said, that's blooming good, that is. I didn't use the term blooming. I said, that's good, you know. And I said, look, there's your 40 quid, and there's another fiver each for you. Go and get yourself a drink. He said, oh, thanks very much, mate. I said, give us your card, and I'll call you if I ever need anything else like that. What else you do? So he told me what else he does. Basically, odd job men, really. I think they can probably turn their hand to anything. I wish I could do things like that, and I can't. Can't do all this decorating and screws in wall. I mean, I just about managed to get a nail in the wall to put pictures up and things like that. And I'm afraid that's about my limit. But we're all made to do different things, aren't we? We really are. So 40 quid, I gave them 50 quid. They're very happy. I'm very happy. The work was very good. No mess anywhere. There was no mess on the top of the kitchen surfaces. Nothing on the floor. So clean and so professional. And do you know why that is? I think that's because they were older boys. I really do. Such a good job. So I'm over the moon. So my cupboards are back on the wall, boys and girls. And once again, I have somewhere to put my plates. So there we are. That's the end of the cupboard story. It's good, isn't it? 40 quid, dear, for all that work. Oh, I think that's brilliant. Right, let's move straight on to the... Shall we do the emails yet? Oh, no, I must tell you about James Dean. Oh, you're going to laugh at this, dear. Oh, he rings me up. I said, oh, this is a she then. He rings me up all excited. Now, when was this? Last Thursday, I think it was. That's James Dean from matineeshow.co.uk, right? I says, all right, James, where are you off to? Oh, I'm just going... Now, where is it? I wrote down where he was going. Let me see. He was going to... What's the name of this place, dear? Hang on. Droylsden, Droylsden, apparently. Droylsden. I said, what are you going up there then? Oh, we're going to do the Christmas lights. And I thought, what's he talking about, going to do the Christmas lights? Is he going to buy Christmas lights for his home? Perhaps for his little Christmas tree that they have there? No. Oh, no. He's going to do the Christmas lights in a little village. I said, what? You're going to turn them on? He said, well, not exactly, but they wanted a celebrity to go down there and turn the lights on. I said, what? And that's you? He said, well, no, that's not the whole story. I said, well, what's the whole story then? He said, well, they've got someone else because he works on a radio station up north. I used to be on there. And they took me off. They didn't want me, boys and girls. They hate me. They hate me there. They all hate me. But this show, as you know, it's a global show, and it's a small, very small community radio station, and we tried it out for a while. It really didn't work on there because, you see, when you do local radio shows, you need to be local. And then I go off and start talking about, I don't know, Matty in Australia, Suko in New York, Doug in Canada, and all this, and it just doesn't fit in. So quite rightly, they said, thanks, Chris, but we don't think this works. That's fine. There's no problem with that. There was a problem. I mean, as soon as I put down the phone, as soon as I was told that, I took myself to the nearest bridge that overgoes the Thames, and I almost jumped off. It took 25 police cars, helicopters, army units, and they talked me down. They told me that, yes, life is worth living. Unless your name's James Dean, of course, because... James has got a few stories. I wish I could tell you all the stories he tells me, but I can't. I can't tell you all the stories. So, he was going to this, was it Droylsden, not to do the Christmas lights, okay? Droylsden had chosen another member of the same radio station, okay? That... You'll love this. To go and turn the lights on, and he was going as the backup celebrity. So the idea was, if number one celebrity didn't turn up, he would be able to turn the lights on. But unfortunately, number one celebrity turned up. I said, when James Dean was telling me this, he was on the way there. I said, are you going to get there early? He said, yeah, very early, actually. I said, well, you know what you want to do, don't you? I said, take the fuse out so that when the first celebrity tries to put it on, it doesn't work. I'm sorry. Wouldn't you do so? I'll do something like that. Too blooming right. How dare they ask my friend James Dean to be the backup celebrity? What a liberty! I tell you what, if my phone rings, because I'm closer to London, so probably, I mean, although James Dean was asked to do the Droylsden, I can't even say it, Droylsden, I don't know what's that, which was a small village near Manchester. He was asked to do that. I'd be asked to do the Oxford Street ones, you know, the ones in the middle of London. But I tell you what, they wouldn't be blooming well ringing me and say, would you like to be the backup celebrity? Backup celebrity? Oh dear, James. But you should have sorted that so that something went wrong. Yeah, you could have, for example, you could have got your, you could have got someone. Do you know where the other, well, you must know where the other celebrity lives if he's on the same radio station as you, do you? What you could have done is made him get held up. No, I don't mean like an armed robbery with guns, you know, held up so that he couldn't get there. For example, you could have attached a padlock and hasp to the front of his front door so that when he tried to get out, he wouldn't be able to get out. And you would have turned the lights on, James. Or, you know, the car. Did he travel by car? Eh? You could have done something, maybe cut one of the tyres on his car so that he couldn't get there. And then you would have been able... But I think the best one of all would be to have taken the fuse out. Well, it must be plugged in somewhere, these Christmas lights, are they? Take the fuse out so that when he goes to turn them on, it all goes wrong. And then you, James Dean, would have come running to the rescue, dear. And then illuminated... Where is it again? Droylsden. You would have illuminated the whole with little pretty fairy lights, dear. How appropriate, James Dean, for you to be turning on fairy lights. Yes, so that's James Dean's news this week. He has been a backup celebrity. What a cheek, dear. Incidentally, I do hope Andy received his United Kingdom... Andy is one of... was James's boss, actually. Well, I mean, they say he's his boss. I mean, the way that poor man is treated is unbelievable, dear. The way you talk... Andy is James's boss at the very... tiny small community station that they're on up there. And he's not treated well either. You don't respect Andy, do you? You are naughty people, you really are. So there we are, that's James Dean's news. Now, shall I tell you more stuff? Or shall I think we ought to go on to the emails, actually. Okay, yeah, we'll do this. We're going to the emails because there's quite a few building up once again. And I hate it when you're kind enough to write in such lovely emails. And then you have to wait for so long for them to come up, maybe a couple of weeks sometimes. But I do try and get onto them as quickly as I can, all right? First of all, let's say hello to Peter once again in Wisconsin, in America. And you may remember he wrote in a couple of weeks ago, and he's a new listener and viewer to the show. And I wrote back to him, and he wants to come to the UK. I think it was in... for the Olympics in 2012, and I really, really want to get a ticket for the opening ceremony for that. How old will I be then? Hang on a minute, 45. My God, I'll be 48 years old then. 48, dear! Can't believe it. Anyway, Peter wants to come to the UK. I think he's coming with his dad. And I asked him what he wants to do when he leaves school and when he gets a job. And he says he's not certain yet. He says, but he loves gaming and everything. So maybe something in that category. Do you mean gaming with computer games and all that thing? It always amazes me how people write computer games. How do you do that? You see, it's completely beyond me. I don't understand it at all. It's just all letters and numbers on a computer screen, isn't it? Is that how you write a computer game? Don't know how you do that. You see, when I was at school, there were no computers. There was not a computer at school. Now, obviously, this program comes to you because of computers. Without computers, I couldn't do the audio or the video to this show. Indeed, you might even be listening to this on a radio station that is internet-based. Couldn't have listened without computers. But I really have no idea how people write games and programs and all this, that and the other. It just amazes me how you can do that. He says, but then I'm a lifeguard in swimming, so maybe a nice paying swimming job. Don't know. Oh, are you not being paid? Is it like job experience? Is that what you're swimming? Your lifeguard in swimming? Are you like a volunteer? So maybe I don't know. Yeah, maybe definitely maybe a paying swimming job. I assume there's plenty of that going round, is there, where you are? All right. Thanks for writing back to us there, Peter. Matty in Australia says, do you remember a show called Captain Planet and the Planeteers? It's a cartoon show. I think Whoopi Goldberg's voice is in it. No, never seen that. Never ever seen it. Never even heard of it. Perhaps that wasn't in the UK, or it might be one of those children's channels that I don't watch. So, no, I don't know that. All right. Let me see where we're going now. Oh, another one from Matty here, who says, I'm learning to cook. My mum is teaching me last night. I cooked curry chicken, and tonight I cooked curry sausages. Now, I've never had curry chicken. The only curry I've had, Matty, is beef curry, which was cooked for me in the pub I worked at in King's Cross. Remember last year? Now, that was nice. That's the only curry I've ever had. So thanks for that, Matty. Hello to Petri in Finland. Hello, Finland. I think, Petri, you are our first ever viewer and listener in Finland, my dear. I must put a little... Let me see, 1 minute. See, behind me, I do have a big map on the wall. And those of you watching on YouTube, even though the map's on the wall, you can't see on the picture because it's not that good definition. Little pins. I've actually got little pins in the map. Whenever I get an email, I tend to put a pin in the map. Although I stopped doing that a while ago. I must put a pin in for Finland. Whereabouts in Finland are you, Petri? She says, thanks for the shows. Wish I lived under the Union Jack. Great shows. Laughed, grinned, cried, laughed again. And she says, want to hear something naughty that happened when I was in the UK? Well, when I was there, I couldn't speak much English back then. Had a few more ciders that I needed to. Ciders? Oh, cider. Oh, you spelt that wrong. It should be with a C there. You don't mind me telling, do you? You put spell with a... Had a few more ciders than I needed to. Got my stomach upset. Lost map. So there I was, a foreign guy in a dark, lost place with the runs. What did you do? I hope you found a toilet in time. Or did you have to dash behind a tree or someone's flat? Oh, how awful. Thanks for that, Petri. Here, don't leave Finland, whatever you do. You don't want to come and live in the UK, do you? Don't leave Finland. We'll have no one to make our Nokia mobile phones, will we? Eh? You won the Eurovision Song Contest a while ago with that rock band. I did like them, I must say, yes. Nokia mobile phones. What else does Finland do apart from make mobile phones and send good records in for the Eurovision Song Contest? Let me know, Petri. Let's give out the email address again. It's Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right? Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I've got a bit of a throat today, so Again, if you're watching, you'll see me now and again. My arm will shoot over to the left and I throw a switch so that I can cough. So actually, if you're watching, you can see it. But if you're listening, you can't hear it like this. See? It's good, isn't it? Oh, people don't want to hear me making those noises. Ross P. from the Ross Patzelt radio show, rosspatzelt.co.uk, right, rosspatzelt.co.uk, tells me off for clearing my throat while doing the show, so I must apologise for that. And let's say hello to Matthew in Canada. Hello, Matthew. He's watching on YouTube and says, I love listening to the show. It always puts me in a fantastic mood. Good. That's what I like to do. Make people happy. Happy, happy, happy. Have I got anything to make you happy here today? Let me see. No, there's nothing. I've got this. I do faces and noises and that sort of thing. Look at this. I know what this is too. This is what I've got. I've put something on my nose there, right? And it's, I think it's that stuff. Oh, I'll take that off. That's hurting. I think it's that stuff you put around pipes to insulate them. It's like a foam stuff. And I wonder what on earth it's doing in here. There's all sorts of strange things in here. I've got spare microphones. Look at this. It's all here. It's all here. Right, Matty. Sorry, Matthew, isn't it? Matthew. Matthew in Canada. Out here in Canada, the talk on the radio, he says, is pure garbage, to say the least. Is it really? Yeah, but why is that? Why is it garbage? What do they talk about that that is rubbish? Is it too political? Is it not light-hearted enough? Or is it too light-hearted, perhaps? I don't know. Tell me why you don't like the radio, okay? Thanks for giving me the opportunity to listen to a show worth hearing. Thank you very much. I'm glad you think so. I have passed the word along about your show to many of my mates here in Canada. And since most of them used to reside in the UK themselves, they think your show is absolutely splendid. Welcome along. Who else is there then? What other Canadians do we have? We already have some lovely people listening in Canada. There's Doug and there's the bloke who drives the motorbike. I can't remember his name now. Who's the one who's on the motorbike? Come on, write in and tell me. Can't remember your name. Who sent me some very nice bits and pieces on the email when I mentioned that my nephew Gary was buying a motorbike, which he's got now. Let me see. Feel free to email me anytime if you'd like to ever hear what's going on around Canada. I'd be more than happy to respond. Have a wonderful day. Hope to hear from you soon. And I did respond, saying that, you know, I'd love to be doing 5 of these shows a week, but I don't have the time. So I said I do 3, which isn't bad. And Matthew wrote back, yes, I think 3 a week is perfect. Not bad at all. Personally, he says, I've never really done any kind of video recording myself, although I'm thinking about setting something like that up and talk about Canada. Ah, what could you call that? You could call that Canada Talk, couldn't you? And see if the name's available, canadatalk.com. And you should register that quickly, okay? Canada Talk you could call that, couldn't you? So we have United Kingdom Talk, we have American Talk USA.com, and we could also have Canada Talk. Hey? Yes. He says, as I say, there are no real good talk shows on the radio over here. Yeah, but you have to tell me why. Presumably you do have talk radio shows, do you? But why are they bad? Why don't you like them? At the moment, I live in Manitoba, at the moment, where I worked for IBM as a network support specialist or another computer person. Oh, it's all very complex to me. He says, but I'm actually in the process of moving to British Columbia, where I will be working for Apple as a network administrator. That sounds ever so posh. Is that a posh job? Is it loads of money, that one? In the evenings, here in Manitoba, I offer local clubs my DJ services. Ah, you're a DJ too. I've also played in a few clubs in Montreal, Toronto, Calgary, Regina, and I will be doing the same when I move to Vancouver. My DJ name is DJ M2, pronounced DJ M squared. Okay, I get that. I am hoping that when I move, that I will be able to find people there that have moved from the UK like I have found here in Manitoba. As a matter of fact, I have more British friends here than I do Canadian friends. Hard to believe, right? Yeah. Are you in... Well, I mean... I think when people emigrate to a country, they tend to... Like, we have areas here in the UK, certain areas that are a lot of Afro-Caribbean people, certain areas where there are a lot of Chinese people, certain areas where there are a lot of Asian people, Polish people. And I think it seems to me that when people emigrate, they tend to go to places where other people from the same country have emigrated to. I don't know why that is. So clearly that's what's happened to you there, maybe. He says, hard to believe I have more British friends, but very true. I guess I know where to go to find them. Yeah, by all means, be sure to read out whatever you'd like to read on your show. I would feel honoured to be included in your show. Well, be honoured. Be honoured. I am honoured to receive an email from you. I should probably tell you as well that one of my main goals in life is to find and settle down with a wonderful British girl. As everyone here knows, they are rated the highest because they are proper and have 110 times more class than any Canadian girl. Oh, I don't know about that. Who told you that, dear? There's only one classy girl here in the UK that I know, and that's my niece, Tracy. She is the only girl in this country with any class at all. I mean, it could be you could meet someone like my sister. I mean, obviously you wouldn't meet my sister because she's married. But I mean, you could meet someone like her. God help you if you ever do, dear. He says, if it means I have to go ahead and move to the UK myself, I will be more than happy to go through with it. You as well, eh? We've got other people wanting to move here, you know. Well, we haven't got enough room for you all. What are we going to do? Anyhow, I won't take up all of your time. Thanks very much for responding to me and taking the time to read what I've said. I'd like very much to keep in touch with you and hope create a lasting friendship. And that's from Matthew in Canada. Thank you, Matthew. And welcome to the show, okay? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the show. Sometimes, as I say, Matty, and indeed everyone else who might have sent in an email recently, sometimes they might take a little while to come up on the show, maybe 3 or 4 shows' time. But emails always eventually come up, okay? Unless, of course, you send in one and like loads and loads and loads, then I kind of pick and choose and do it like that. Thank you, Matty. Nice to hear from you. Oh, I meant to tell you, just before I came on to do the show today, I've worn my worst ever shirt again today, and the reason for that is the last time I wore it, if you remember, the video cut out after 20 minutes. So I've got the same shirt on today that I wore in that show. It is, I think, possibly the worst shirt I have ever owned. It's white and blue little checks, just like a tea cloth. Now, you, dear friends and loyal listeners, viewers and loyal listeners to the show, have the opportunity of telling me to destroy this shirt on one of my future shows. If you think this shirt is so bad... Oh, I'm really sorry. I've got terrible phlegm today. I hope you can't hear it. I'll keep flicking the switch. If you think this shirt is so bad that it needs to be destroyed here on the show in front of an audience of thousands, then just let me know and I shall personally rip it to pieces on the show. I hope I'm strong enough. Of course I'm strong enough. I'm big and butch. Butch. I did tell you a couple of weeks ago that I did do 2 butch friends oh God, I got that wrong, didn't I? I did do 2 butch friends. I did do 2 very butch things in the last couple of weeks, and we still haven't had time to tell you the second one. The first one was the cupboards on the wall, you see, because I did try, before I called those two old boys out, I did try to do it myself, but I failed miserably, boys and girls. I'll tell you what I did, yeah. With the cupboard, obviously the screw was coming out. So first of all, I pulled the cupboard back a bit, removed the screw with raw plug still attached. You see, the whole thing had come out. Tried to put another one in, no luck. I then drilled 2 other holes in the cupboard, and I still couldn't blooming well do it. And I thought, if I can, this is going to get worse. That's when I called the 2 boys out. So that's Butch thing number 1, okay? Butch thing number 2, I haven't got time to tell you. You'll have to wait for the next show for that, okay? I've hooked you in again now. You're wondering what that is. And it is a very, very Butch thing I did. You will, but you might be impressed. You might be impressed. I don't know. Although, I have to say, not as butch as what some of the people are doing on a television programme here at the moment called I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, that jungle thing. And in it, they have to do things in the Australian jungle and have things like cockroaches and snakes and spiders put on them. And it's vile, 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 vile. But all these celebrities are in it. And can you believe one of the celebrities in it is... Oh, hang on. I did have some music ready for this. Have I got it here? 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. 1 minute. Don't go, don't go, don't go. 1 minute. Where's my music? It's here somewhere. Oh, I can't find it now. I thought I had this all sorted earlier. Is that it there? No, it's not. Oh, 1 minute. If I type in the title, maybe that'll find it. I'm not going to tell you what it is. That'll spoil it, won't it? Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. Guess who? Guess who is one of the celebrities in this programme? Have you guessed yet? It's not Captain Kirk. It's not Mr. Spock. It's not Bones. It's not Scotty. Well, he's dead anyway, so it wouldn't be him. It is Mr. Zulu from Star Trek. Yes! He is actually in I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. How fantastic. Can you just imagine that? And it's got all these other actors in it, right? Actors and other celebrity type people. But can you just imagine being like a younger actor, right? And being in this thing and Mr. Zulu from Star Trek is in it. How fantastic is that? Although he hasn't done an awful lot yet. Do you know what? And I have to say, he doesn't look as old as I assume. He must be into his 60s now. But how fantastic being on a stage set with Mr. Zulu from Star Trek. Yes. Anyway, so that's I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. And it's not something, I have to say, that particular programme is not something that I would usually watch. But in this case, it's fantastic. I love it. Mr. Zulu from Star Trek. Yes, Zulu. Yes, Captain. Warp 5, yes, Captain. Ooh, as he pushes another button. We love it. How did I get onto that? Oh, yes, I was just getting my hair ready and ironing a shirt, and I looked in the mirror in the bathroom, and I was shocked and horrified to find a grey hair. Well, I have got a few grey hairs. I mean, you can't see them on the programme. You can't see them. But there was one particular one, and I knew it was there because it was pointed out to me last night. How embarrassing is that? Oh, Chris, you've got a grey hair. Oh, thank you very much. I know I've got a grey hair. I don't need it pointed out. But this grey hair, it was sticking out at right angles. And then when I washed my hair just before I come in to chat to you today, right, I looked in the mirror and there it was again. It was sticking out at right angles. What's all that about? Are the grey hairs all going to start sticking out at right angles? So I got my scissors, clip, and it's gone. There we are, all gone. Right, let me see. Where are we going to now? Ah, look at this. It's Nick Evans. Hello, Nick. And he has his website about British things. It's called BritishPages.org. You can look it up, okay? BritishPages.org. Lots of British things on there. And he very kindly has the video player that plays out this program in video and sound, of course, on his front page site. And he says, "Hi Chris, it's been a very long time since I last emailed you." Yeah, months and months. Where does the time go though, Nick? Eh? Where does the time go, my friend? He said, "Just wanted to let you know we still listen to you all the time." So thank you very much for that, Nick. "I'm rebuilding the British Pages website, and your ranting helps me get through late nights when we are creating web pages." Now, you see, that's another thing I can't do, Nick, you see. As you know, I have a website, a main website, chrisreardon.co.uk. And from that links to everything that I do. The DJ work, the radio shows, my photographs, my CV, it's all on there. That actually reminds me, let me just write something that I've got to update my CV because I haven't done that for a while. And all the places I've worked and what have you. And I didn't actually build that. I had to get someone else to build that site for me. I'm not technically capable of doing that. And I was shown how to update the various things. And so I do that. So I'm just, you know, people who tell me that they write computer games or build websites and all this business, I think it's so clever. I really do. He says, "We are due to launch next year, but if you want to use our forums, then go ahead. I'll have a look at those, okay?" He says, "So anyway, you're our front page video star. Video killed the radio star. I hope once we advertise here in North America, we can bring you more listeners and viewers. Keep up the good work. Your listeners are out there from Nick Evans, BritishPages.org in California." Oh, fantastic. Thank you, Nick. Lovely to hear from you. And talking of advertising, I've pushed the boat out, actually. I don't know if anyone else listening or watching the show has had any experience on this, but I thought I'd try something out. And I've actually put a little advert on Facebook advertising United Kingdom Talk. I think it says something like thrice weekly talk show, Chris Reardon, Tuesday, Thursday, something like that, and it's got the website. So I've done that on Facebook for 7 days, just a 7-day advert, and I've also done it on Google Ads. Now, what's it called now? Is it Google Word Ads or something like that? I've also done a Google one, a Google ad as well for 1 month. Just to see if anything happens, because it's always nice to have more and more friends, loyal listeners and viewers. You see, this isn't, I'm sort of well aware, this particular show isn't everyone's cup of tea. You either like it or you don't. I wouldn't say this programme is for the mass audience, I suppose. It's like... how can I say? I mean, you know the format of the show. Come round, have a cup of tea, and let's have a chat together. That's the format of the show. But it's not everyone's cup of tea, you know. A lot of people like music. It might be probably a bit too camp for some people. Dare I say, camp? Me? Me? I don't think so, dear. Butch, that's the name. It's not everyone's cup of tea. So, I don't know. I mean, out of every 100 people that find out about it or accidentally click on it, I wonder how many people stay, you know? So for every 100 people that might click on that might find out about, oh, let's have a quick look at that, click on it, oh my God, can't stand it. I wonder how many out of 100 people would stay with the show from then on, so to speak. No figures for that, really. And that's why I've taken out these 2 little adverts to see if anything happens. The more people, perhaps, that would click on it, maybe the more people would join us, and the family can get bigger. All right, so that's what I've done there. Who was I talking to then, Nick? Yeah, took out a little advert on Facebook and one on Google Ads. I wonder, do we have anyone who has done something similar, either with their own show, perhaps, or you have a business and you've advertised on Facebook or Google Words or whatever it's called? Do let us know on the old email, okay? Chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Going to say hi to Suko in New York. And Suko said, but you mustn't get upset, dear. Now and again, Suko grabs me or I grab her on Skype. And we have a little bit of a conversation. But then I usually have to go. I'm never on Skype or MSN for more than a couple of minutes. And she said, oh, there you go again, finding excuses to leave. Oh, don't make me feel guilty, Suko, or I just won't answer the call in future. I'll pretend I'm not here. I'll pretend I'm hiding under the table or somewhere like that. No, I just don't have time to talk on MSN or Skype for very long periods of time. The trouble is, you see, Suko, by you saying that, there you go again, finding excuses. Now, next time you ring, I'll be a little bit worried to answer the phone in case I don't talk to you for long enough. So don't blame me for that, my love. I'm really, really on Skype. In all seriousness, I'm really, really on Skype or MSN because I find it stops you doing things. You know, you kind of turn on the computer. There's a lot of people that do this. You turn on the computer, and then if you and then you're doing some sort of work. And if you've got Skype or MSN to open up automatically, straight away 3 people want to talk to you, and then you can't get on with what you're doing. So I'm rarely on it anymore. And I found out, I didn't know this, that Suko, her husband Jerry, wanted to be a pilot once and took some flying lessons for a while. He got up to soloing, and then lessons became too expensive, so he gave up. So I didn't know that, Suko. I've only flown a plane once. I only ever did it once. That was enough for me. Oh, cold dear. It's the trouble with those little planes. The slightest bit of turbulence, and it gets pushed over to the side. So there we are. Thank you, Suko. Hi to Susan. More news about Dallas coming in, I think, the next show. We've got one more item. Let me see if it's here somewhere. Where are you? There you are. Susan, that's it. Yeah, there we are. We've got more news about Dallas coming up in the next show. Now, I was saying I felt a little bit guilty about trying to convince Susan to go to this Dallas reunion. I just thought it was a good idea, and it hadn't turned out as well as they wanted it to, unfortunately, which you heard a couple of shows ago. She says, please don't feel guilty about me going to South Fork. Actually, she says, the disaster worked in my favour. If things had gone the way it was originally planned, the cast would have come around and said hello at each table. The way it worked out, I was talking to them in the back of the stage for 2 hours. Can you imagine? Standing and talking to the cast of Dallas for 2 hours. That's fantastic. I had a blast. I'm writing you another email telling you all about my day out there. It was quite long, and I'm having to write a little at a time while I'm at work. It will be another week before I can mail your package. She sent me a package with autographs and everything. I'm so excited. I'll try and get the autographs to you pronto. Take your time, Susan. Take your time, my darling. So more about the whole Dallas thing. I think probably the last bit of the story in the next show. Okay? Let's see. Oh, Doug is going on holiday. Doug is going on holiday for 10 days, so I hope you're having a nice time. And he says in previous shows, I hate little dogs that bark, and they're all bark and no teeth. And I loved Space 1999. Almost bought a box set. Oh, you should have done. Buy the box set. That's worth it, Space 1999. I prefer Sean Connery over Roger Moore in a 007 film. Yeah, I like Roger Moore the best. Not keen on the new one at all. Not keen on the... It's all the humour's gone out of it. Right, now we've got time for one more email here, and I've still got a couple that I've been holding back for a while. I do apologise. One from our friend Marcus, Robert in Ireland, and a couple of others. So they'll come up on the next show. I'm sorry I can't. Oh, and indeed Sue Hill wants me to sing, and Rob Tyler. So I will be singing for you in perhaps the next show, okay? Last email then comes from Maureen, who's in Spain. And this is a beautiful email. I hope I've got time to read it all. Hi, Chris. I've only recently discovered your show on YouTube. I know you like feedback, and I want you to know how you've helped me overcome a very stressful time. This is a beautiful, lovely email to send someone like myself who does this sort of thing. We live in Spain, but at the moment I'm miles away from my Spanish home in a town called Benidorm. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's a holiday resort, yeah. However, there's a hospital here which specialises in serious heart operations, and my husband has just had a heart operation and is recovering in intensive care. We have just heard the news that he will be moved to a normal ward this afternoon, so thank God that he's getting better there. Here's the bit. I just had to tell you that your podcast helped me to greatly reduce my stress. Obviously, I have a lot of time of your podcasts now to catch up on, so I listen to you when I wake up in the morning, at lunchtimes, and in the evening I go to bed with you. It's so nice to hear humour and everyday problems that you present. It helps keep me grounded. I now know the importance of what you are doing, and maybe one day, when he has recovered, I will be able to produce my own podcast from Spain as well. Yeah, why not? Do it. So thank you so much for those lovely words, Maureen. And I've got to tell you, the first time I read this, I started crying my eyes out. I really was. You really touched me with that email, and it's a lovely thing to send through to someone. It really is. And you know, this program, as you know, I don't get paid for it. It doesn't make money or anything like that. But when you get an email like that, you kind of think to yourself, you know, these big radio stations who worry about their figures and their advertising, you can keep all that. Because that one email to me is worth 100 years worth of wages. You know, to be able to touch someone like that. You really have made my day, Maureen. So she's going to do a podcast. I have replied to you, Maureen. I hope you got my reply. Just little bits of advice about podcasts, and do write in again, okay? Thanks very much for watching and listening to the show today. Thank you especially to Maureen there. All power to the elbow, she says. I'll see you on the next show. Do join in on the email, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. See you. Bye-bye.